You're now live. So this is the part of the show where we're getting going, and we're going live today to YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitch. And if you're watching, or sorry, listening on Royston Radio, uh, hello from me and from
Peter.
right. So Peter and I are here, ready to go. We normally have to wait for John to arrive. He should be
He's
with
got
us
a
shortly.
parcel.
Probably. He's had more parcels over the years than we've had hot dinners.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Other than that, we'll be live in 20 seconds. So this is the countdown. We're actually live over on YouTube. We've got notification of that. I'm just waiting for the clock to count down. So grab a cup of tea and listen to the stories that we tell in the next hour or so. And 3, 2, 1. Stop the clock and hide that. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning.
Right, I'm still getting to grips with these new layouts in the studio.
All right.
Let me put that. If I move,
Got to see, I haven't used it for a while.
yeah, there's some more updates coming out next week on the 20. I think the 23rd of April. We've got a
Yeah.
special show at 4 o'clock to talk about the updates on Be Live. So looking forward to that. I'm still looking forward to trying to get this the way I want it.
Okay.
Oh,
Right.
that'll do. Well, I'll make do with that. So we've got the big Blabbing for Britain.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the show. This is Blabbing for Britain, episode 372. UK News Review. Everything that's going on in the UK. Good morning, Peter. Officially, good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
And I suppose the place we should start. You made a prediction a while ago about the SNP, and we listened because we don't know anything. But can you bring us up to date on what's happening?
Prediction. Can you
Sorry?
remember? What was my prediction?
That they would fall from grace.
Yeah. Okay. So the latest is morning, John. Right. So the latest is that a man called Colin Beattie was arrested, and he is the SNP party treasurer, or was until yesterday, because he has now resigned.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I've been watching it on Twitter. I don't comment. Now, you're not going to believe what I'm going to say here. In Britain, we should be innocent until proven guilty.
That's
Okay.
that's the principle.
So, 3 people's names were on the list who signed for the accounts or whatever. There's 3 names in it. And one is Colin Beattie, and one is Peter Morrell, who's Nicola Sturgeon's husband,
Mm-hmm.
and then Nicola Sturgeon herself. 2 were arrested under caution. So they've got to arrest them under caution because people were asking that. So they're under caution now, and that means that they can go and take materials and look into them, and computers and paper and everything like that. About 12 people have resigned from the government, I would think. They're all like rats in a sinking ship. They're all jumping off.
Yeah.
And now, Mr. Blackford, you remember Mr. Blackford?
He was the one person in Parliament who could take on all the Conservative prime ministers.
He's been very, very quiet. Now, not all that long ago, he resigned as the chief man in Westminster.
Yeah, he did.
He knew that the party auditors had resigned,
Mm-hmm.
and he never mentioned a tweet about it. Nobody mentioned a tweet about it. Okay?
Yeah.
So he resigned as I think it's called the chief whip of the party down in Westminster. Nobody knew that the auditors had resigned. apart from the top level people.
Right.
Miraculously, well, what I believe, our present First Minister, Mr. Humza, didn't know either.
Oh.
He didn't know that they had bought a supposedly £110,000 camper van that sat for 2 years. He didn't know about it, right? Nicola Sturgeon didn't know that her husband had put £107,000 into their account. And this is and the main, just to keep people updated, the main cause for all this were people were asking where the £600,000 was. Now, a man called is it Keith Brown, a Falklands War hero, a commando, Royal Marine. He was the deputy, and he said, monthly, I want transparency.
Yes.
I want everyone to know what is coming into the party, and we want them to know what's coming out on a monthly basis, just like any bookkeeping thing in a business. Basically, they were all told to shut up about it. That was the words, because Nicola Sturgeon, somebody leaked it, says if we keep talking about the kiss, nobody will pay. Now, the other thing is, they were meant to have 100,000 people, miraculously it dropped to 50,000. Now, all these 100,000 people would have been supposedly paying a fee to the party.
That's true.
Okay? So there's obviously, in my opinion, been some jiggery pokery. And the auditors left because they felt, and I don't know their exact words, that there was potential fraud. Now, it looks as though they're cash strapped. Okay?
Yeah.
I'll just get to it briefly. It looks as though they're really cash strapped, and no auditor will take them on because they won't get paid. I don't know if the Electoral Commission then get involved, but if they don't get it sorted out by X time, they're going to lose 1.2 million in grant or whatever it is from the government.
Yeah.
It's gone.
They have to submit their accounts by July 7th.
Yeah, they are in one. I was going to say they are in some mess.
Yeah.
And that's the situation. And there are many people who were in the SNP who were shut down by the SNP, and they are having a bit of a celebration, I would think, at the moment, because they were quick. Do you remember that? Maybe that lady that broke the COVID rules. She was an MP. She went
on the train.
On the train and everything.
Yeah.
Well, they resigned the whip from her and etc., and really made. She was suspended. And people are saying, right, if she was suspended for that, why is Nicola Sturgeon not suspended? And Humza at the moment has not suspended her. But he stopped 3 of her policies going ahead, like the bottle bankers. Now, when you return your bottle banks, the bottles like in Germany, that's been put on hold. There's a couple of other things. And everybody's waiting. The word is she's going to be resigning imminently because she never went to Parliament. It looks as though she's in hiding. And that is the update for this morning.
Is it also possible that she may be arrested under caution as well?
She could be arrested under caution. The other 2 have, right? And somebody, now here's a thing that changed. Somebody said the man that resigned after being arrested under caution, somebody says, I wonder if he resigned and he's going to give evidence under King's Counsel. Remember, it used to be Queen's Counsel.
Yeah.
He may be doing it under King's Counsel as a suggestion. They've said, okay, I'll tell you everything you need to know. Don't put me in jail.
We're not. Thank you. That was an excellent press in. Helps to understand the situation, Peter.
Yeah.
Just let me try this and go here and go here and there. Okay, so we say good morning to Alfredo, who's watching from the west coast of America. And hello on YouTube. Yes, we're on YouTube. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch. And we're on Royston Radio on Saturdays, 11 o'clock. Right, okay. Now, there's a paper that came out yesterday, I think, which suggests that city dwellers who are willing to take up their paved frontages and put in gardens should receive either a council tax rebate or a water rebate. John?
No, I've got a sloping drive, so everything runs off it, whether you've got a grassed area or a... It sounds crazy to me. I do know that it is an issue that water's not able to go between blocks and things like that, or it's not through tarmac, but why should we be paying people to do it? If something's available, it should be available to everybody, not just a select group, to my mind.
But I'm going to try and find it. Basically, it was about just bringing back gardens, because the cities, especially London, have lost 20. Peter's going to get coffee. You can't see that on the radio, Peter, but
I don't think he wanted to be seen on the radio.
Yeah. Basic is frozen as well. Peter, you're frozen. No, he hasn't. He's gone to get his coffee. The London has lost 20%ish of its greenery over the years, because people have been paving things over and tarmacking them, and now what they want to do is to bring it all back.
I would think 3/4 of my drive is under blocks.
Yeah, I think, so we'll wait and see what happens. That's just a report. Okay, overnight it was said, and John, correct my inaccuracies, that the government are going to push a bill through Parliament and ignore European law.
I'm not even aware of it. That sounds how exciting it is to me.
Okay, it's all about the boats.
Well, I was listening to something this morning about it.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what the French done when they pushed people back over into Italy? There's a couple of countries have done it. A couple of countries have said, well, Italy has now changed. They're not letting them in. They made new laws to stop them coming in. And France, seemingly, look it up, had put people back over to Italy. And they said, we'll take it to court. And they says, yeah, no problem. See you in 6 years.
That's a good point, because it takes so long, doesn't it?
Yeah. So if what's good for the goose is good for the gander, we've got to do this and say, yeah, well, let's work it out. What's the fine? Okay, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. We are the only country that is letting them in the way we are, and a lot of them, apart from charities, they have to help themselves. And why have the French got the gumption to do it? I mean, they don't even work 64 to get their pension, and they have riots in the street. So why should they get away with it? And they're a member of the European Union, so is Italy. Why? Let's see what they do. They're not taking them to court. Maybe we should do the same. Now, I know that people will be listening saying, oh, but yeah, take them into your house. Because I watched a guy going around a whole crowd of people. Not one would take them into their home. That's my view. Very liberal view, if I don't mind saying.
As always, Peter, it's totally liberal. No. Right now, our government is set to push through a bill in Parliament tonight. With its majority, it's got, the bill will get through, and it's to ignore the European Court of Human Rights. in relation to anything to do with boats. So if you want to send people to Rwanda, they send people to Rwanda. If the European court says you can't do that, the government will say, yes, we can.
Here's a question for you. Did you see the one with the ferry? The ferry was going over to France, right? Everybody was singing, we're all going on a summer holiday. We got out the harbour, you could too. Anyway, so what happened was they're on the ferry. And then this French warship, or whatever they call it, it was French Navy.
Yeah.
Monsieur, or Captain, we need you to move to port. He says, I can't move to port. And he says, oh, you'll have to. There are dinghies on your way. Why didn't the French pick him up out the water? Why did they not pick him out the water?
I don't know.
For their own
answers. Obviously,
so they would let them go, and if they drowned in the way of it, oh, I'm sorry, but we're waiting for the British to pick them up. They never quite made it into British waters, and they're all floating dead. Oh, very sorry. Oh, we should have picked them up, but we never.
Right. Okay. Over to Alfredo, and we'll see what Alfredo's got to say. We have an issue of runoff water when it rains in our local church at Inglewood Southside Christian Church because of the new LA Clippers Stadium. There you are. That's definitely concreting over, isn't it? That's not concreting your driveway. That's concreting the church. Well, the area from the church, not letting the water run off. Thank you, Alfredo.
At least it's not water in Ohio.
Yeah.
So no, come on, guys. That's me done my bit about the boats coming over and my thoughts. What about yours?
Shall we stay with boats? What about these Russian boats that are prepared to do sabotage in the event of conflict? Yeah. Apparently, we've got them in the North Sea.
Oh, absolutely.
Can you tell us more?
Listen, the Russians and the Chinese are kind of laughing at us. We've never really been so unprepared. And I've been watching the Falklands Islands things just recently. He nearly got rid of our aircraft carriers. And boy, did we need them. Now, nature gives a snake its venom for defense. It gives a lion the ability to rip us to shreds. The chameleon can hide with what it's got. You should and nature is that way. You've got to have something to strike back with. You really must keep your guard up. You never know what's going to happen.
Apparently, these are sort of ghost ship-like things, and they're not just in the North Sea; they're all over the place. And they're committed to do sabotage, like underwater telephone lines and things. Okay, they're not as important as they used to be because we're using up and down via satellite, but nonetheless, electricity cables, gas, etc. So they seem to be doing all sorts of naughty things in the moment.
I was about to say something.
Very interesting program the other night. I don't watch the telly much, but I watched this one about who's the world's richest man. And this program reckons Mr. Putin is the world's richest man.
Yeah. He feathered his nest, you know. And I'll tell you an area that's got to be watched as well. I know something that I can't repeat here, but the west of Scotland needs to be watched. Way up in the west of Scotland. That's an area that nobody thinks about much. Okay? That's all I'm saying in that one. Iceland. Another place is Iceland. Did you know we took Britain took over Iceland during the Second World War?
Didn't we move aliens? That's not aliens that's coming out of the sky.
What they done, Stephen? The British government just sailed into Iceland and said, we're taking this country over. Because if we don't do it, Hitler will. And it was, we got there first because it was very strategic. And the Icelanders really couldn't do anything about it. And they said, it's better us than them, isn't it? And that's right. Did you know about that?
No. There are many things I don't know about Peter, unfortunately.
Yeah. That's what I got up this morning watching about people that went into Singapore and on what do you call it? Canoes. And went in and fixed limpet mines. And then they got out and they met a Japanese ship, but it wasn't a Japanese ship. It was Australian soldiers and British soldiers on it. And they picked him up and they took him away. And a destroyer, a Japanese destroyer, came across them and they just sat by their side and done nothing. And all the men had browned themselves up with dye, right? And they got the dye for some famous place. And that was true heroes of World War II. Because they went to Singapore when it was riddled with Japanese.
Yeah.
But they were off their guard because they conquered Singapore, the worst military defeat we've ever had, and they just were easy, the lights were on and everything. So that's Pete's bit about World War II.
My father served in Singapore. He was called up and sent out to Singapore to serve. He would never talk about it.
Was he a prisoner as well, Stephen?
Sorry?
Was he a prisoner of war?
No, he served in the British Army.
All right, okay, yeah, because basically the whole garrison surrendered.
Right. Let's catch up with Alfredo and Russia's Navy. There's a link from Alfredo. Russia's Navy vessel Admiral Valminsky suspected of sabotage in North Sea. And Alfredo's given a link to the article. And then the next is following a plebiscite, Iceland formally became an independent republic on June 17th, 1944. So that's to back up what you're saying, Peter.
Yeah. No.
Weren't they a Danish territory before then?
It's like Malta. A few people have walked in and said, we are taking this over. What are you going to do about it? And the British was one of them as well. Anyway, up here in Scotland, they had Nimrods, and every day they were in the air. I used to see them quite a lot. And every day, practically, the Russians would just come to the edge of our territory with their aeroplanes. Every day to test them. They got to know one another. A bear in the air.
Yeah.
Big Nimrods.
The Nimrods were Comet 4Cs, converted for military use.
Yeah, we should never, ever let our guard down.
1948 plane design that really went into service in about 51, I think. And they were still in use up until about 7 years ago.
Yeah. And all our tanks, basically, we've not much tanks left now. They're away to Ukraine.
Well, yeah. Indeed. And there's...
Can you ever drink too much coffee?
Never, because I don't drink the stuff. So I never drink too much coffee.
I think this is
I drink 4 cups of coffee a day, Peter, and that's me done.
I've got this is about my 10th cup a day.
Yeah, it does make you hyper. That's
That may be why I'm hyper. Let me tell you, I must get the pictures up. I was very stressed yesterday, and I picked my friend Andy up, and I says, Andy, let's go for a little walk. Tampa, right? I won't sing that one. Anyway, we went out, and we went by the river in Aberdeen, and it was absolutely wonderful. And we walked along the river bank, and Andy took a picture of me contemplating, because I didn't like yesterday morning. And it really, the weather was beautiful. And then we walked along, and we went and we sat down. And I pretended I was on the phone, otherwise Andy would never have bought my coffee. Can you get coffees, Andy?
He's going to watch this and know that next time you're on the phone, you're just conning him.
Watches it, doesn't it say that?
Oh dear. Oh,
Yeah,
dear.
great friend, Andy. One day I heard words that Andy would never have thought would have come out of his mouth. I'll pay for this.
Is he a typical Scotsman?
Sorry?
Is he a typical Scotsman? Deep pockets and short hands?
Worse. Yeah, right. He's my true friend, and he knows he knows that I have a bit of jest. He's lost a lot of weight. He's lost 3 stone actually. You know, his wallet fell out of his pocket.
Yeah, we knew that would
The
happen.
oldies for the goodies.
He's lost 3 stone.
Yeah.
He's my one true friend, and I tell them that quite a lot. That's in case anything happens to him and he leaves me in his will.
He's
You know,
going to leave with the empty wallet in his
Can I just say, a highly intelligent guy, quality assurance, video engineer thing, sound thing now. There's no jobs. There's no jobs,
No.
you know. And I was in Lidl's the other day, right? Lidl's, you can send my voucher. And I'm looking at 2 young men serving them. They probably got degrees. Cut me off.
He's gone.
Hello.
He hasn't gone.
Hi, Sharon. Yeah. Seen your name.
He's gone now. He's gone now. Let's just switch the sound off.
Hear him now.
Right, okay. I'll wait till we get a signal from Peter and then bring him back. Okay, so that gives us a chance, John, to talk about football. Van Haaland apparently wants to stay.
Yeah,
they're renegotiating his £400,000 a week contract.
it's just
That's
ridiculous.
obviously-
We need to go back to the days when there was a maximum salary. Yeah.
That's just
Stop being stupid and held to ransom. It's not working for Chelsea, is it? They've got loads of people on.
They've got loads of money. They've got
hundreds of
Frank
thousands
Lampard,
a week.
and he's still not working.
Where are they? 11th, 12th?
Yeah, 11th in the league, in the Premiership.
And who would have believed that at the start of the season?
Yeah, but who would have believed also, if you go back 2 years, who would have believed that Liverpool would be 8th?
Yeah, I can see them. They've got a pretty good run in. I can see them climbing quite a bit. Yeah. Their running is quite easy compared with other people. The toughest running is for the Villa.
Because you're currently in
6th.
6th.
Listen, we think we've all been sniffing helium. We've not been that high since 2012.
Okay, what's made the difference this season then?
It's called a decent manager. As much as when they appointed him, and I said, "Oh no, he was not a failure at the Arsenal." He's been absolutely brilliant.
Can you remind us who he is again?
Oh, he's that funny fella with the stupid name.
All right.
You know, I'm definitely getting old because I can't think of the most simple of things at time. Yeah.
Things, yeah, words occasionally disappear.
Oh, it's more than words lately. It's who the hell am I think, sometimes.
Obviously, I mean, Peter doesn't seem to have any problem. He's off to get himself. I know he hasn't gone to get a coffee. He's gone to do something. Just a minute. I'll keep his microphone off. Yeah.
Oh no, I couldn't think of it because I can't pronounce it. It's Unai Emery. Yeah.
All right. All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
he did go to Arsenal. He went from Wolves to Arsenal, correct?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he went from Wolves to Arsenal because he was a success at Wolves, and then went to
and
Arsenal.
He was a disaster at Arsenal.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for a thumbs up from Peter.
And then
We've got
I
one.
think that's all about there. But what about the goalkeeper last night who scored in the 95th minute?
Who was that?
You don't know who scored in the 95th? Right.
I know City were playing, but
No, this is a championship game.
okay.
Yeah, so it was the Coventry keeper at Blackburn. And it was the 95th minute with seconds to go.
Yeah.
So the goalkeeping coach told him to get up there and he scored from a corner.
It's a rare event.
That's good.
Yeah.
So it was very unusual there. But do you think Arsenal are going to make it? Or do you
It's
think
getting jittery, isn't it? I mean, the City have got a game in hand. They're
Yeah.
4 points behind. So if they get that, if they get a win, then there's just 1 point in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be very nervy for Arsenal because Man City are actually used to tight run-ins where they actually come out the winners.
Yeah.
So, they've done it before, so they could well do it again.
Well, there's
Who-
only. Sorry.
Who are you
Carry on.
shouting?
Huh?
Who do you want to win?
I'd like Arsenal to win.
Right. Okay.
Because
That makes
it's
it-
the old unlimited money at Manchester City, yeah. And it would be nice to remember kicking them.
That makes it 1 vote for the North, 1 vote for the South. Casting vote goes to Peter. Peter, do you want Manchester City or Arsenal to win the Premiership, or does it not matter?
Did I? Oh, I wasn't listening. I don't care.
Right.
I don't
We
care.
knew that was going to be the answer.
Not interested.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the two interesting areas at the moment are the 3 games left in the Championship, and it could be a good follow-up with who goes up with Burnley, because it's looking a little iffy up the middle immediately after them, and Burnley is up, we know that. And then the National League is the other one, where Wrexham are now 3 points in front with just 1 game, I think there is left. Yep. So they'll be going up shortly.
Okay.
And our man in Scotland doesn't care about this, even though Aberdeen are having a good run at the moment.
But staying with sport for a minute, something we've talked about before. Somebody has just published an interview with Michael Schumacher.
All right.
But it's all been done by artificial intelligence. It's not a real interview.
Okay.
Oh, we're heading into dangerous territory. Adrian Charles, who we often mention on this program whenever his name crops up, did a piece this morning in The Guardian, which basically said we're on the sort of cusp of not be able to tell real from fake.
Yeah. Well,
have either of you tried Bard?
I think I've tried it once. I'm not using AI at the moment.
Well, I don't use AI at all because I've got, a brain and I can bet things. But I have to say, I did 2 tests with it, and I was actually pretty impressed with the output. It's frightening.
Yeah, it's and I don't know if you've seen all the adverts. So people have clicked onto it. Only $27, and we've got prompts. We've got 150 prompts that you can give for your business, and they'll give you the reply for it. So they're selling prompts for AI for your businesses, etc. I mean, and you can't blame these people. Some people are making a lot of money on it. They're taking advantage of it. Simple thing like this. I mean, I'm a sort of guy that would probably buy one. Probably get inundated now. But yeah. But who's trying to stop it?
That's a leading question, Peter. What's the answer? Who's trying to stop AI?
It's Mr. Rocket Man, isn't it?
Yeah, Elon Musk is trying to stop it. And he was a founder of it.
That's slightly weird. Yeah, as you say, he's one of the initial shareholders.
Because he just fears that it may get out of control with Did you know that we nearly had a nuclear war? And guess who stopped it? It was a Russian soldier sitting in the silo.
Right.
And he got the computer, whatever happened. There's a story about it, you'll find it. And he thought, wait a minute, is this right? And he never done it.
Right.
And it prevented the nuclear firing of missiles because he just double checked something. It's crazy. And that's one of the weird things, that if you give the AI permission to fire a nuclear rocket, we've no say in it after more. And that's where it could become dangerous.
Yeah.
Which is
There
quite interesting.
are different types of AI, and it's the creative AI which is causing the problems at the moment.
Yeah.
Where it can create content that reads as if we'd written it, and pictures that look real, like the Pope in a coat.
Yeah.
Which took everybody in. So we're getting to the cusp where we showing a video or a photograph, we don't know whether it's real or not.
No, this, guys, I'm looking at myself here. No, you look at you. I'm looking more like my dad every day. Oh,
Yeah.
strange. Yes. So, do you look like your dad's?
No.
Really? Okay, I
Not at all.
won't go further.
There are bound to be genetic similarities, either in the
Yeah.
eyes, or the nose, or the ears. But I currently do not look like my dad. My dad was, let's just say, he drank,
Okay.
and
My dad liked his pint, but
yeah.
when he got into his 60s, he actually stopped going down the pub and started staying at home.
That's funny. My dad
Well,
liked
I
to drink.
go down the pubs 6 or 7 days a week.
My
Wasn't a
dad was
drinker.
the same. He
But
loved drink.
I've already said this to my dear wife, so there. She looks more like her dad than ever, because neither of them had any hair.
At least I hope at least you can laugh about it. I seen a good one this morning, John. There was a woman getting her hair shaved, you know, and the
Yeah.
barber, a young dude, you know, jet black hair, shaved her head, and then what he done was he shaved his own head after it.
All right.
Oh, it's good. Go and look it up. It's good. It's
Well, I keep telling everybody I've got to have hair for 2. I went to the barber's yesterday, Peter.
Well, you better get your money back because they've done you.
It said closed on the bloody door. She used to be open Sundays and then closed Tuesday and Wednesday. Now she's closed on a Sunday,
Yeah.
and she's closed on a Wednesday as well. So she gets her 2 days a week off. My biggest worry is that she'll retire. It was same happened with the dentist. I've been going to the dentist for 22 years, and bye. I'm packing it in 3 months. Oh, great! You know,
I had a bit of upselling at my dentist, new dentist at the practice, and he says, "Oh yeah, you went in you'll get your teeth scrubbed." He says, "You went in the national health, or you went in it on private." I said, "What's the difference?" He says, "Cost you 60 quid privately." I says, do it in the NHS at the moment. And then when I says, "What's the difference?" And he says, "It'll go deeper. It's half an hour. Scrub your teeth, blah, 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 better for your gums." So I'm going to book it. It's a good bit of upselling, my friend.
I have Denplan, and it's £11 a month, and that covers me for 2 scrubs a year and a set of X-rays. £11 a month.
I was going to look at one of these actually, in a health plan. I'm going to look at them again, and you get your dental treatment half price and everything.
Well, this is just dental only, nothing else.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I would like to say while we're talking about health, cannot thank the NHS enough for the work they do. We said yesterday morning we got a call saying there was a appointment for a scan at 4:30. did Celia want to come in and take it? Because otherwise would have been another fortnight
Yeah.
before she'd have got a scan. So
Yeah.
we said, yes, please, we're coming. And
I was the same with my dentist. This is, sorry, Mr. Stewart, your appointment. Could you come in earlier? I says, no problem, because I love early appointments and I get them out of the way. Same with the nurse, etc. I do that as well. And yeah, so we've got, I mean, I don't think my NHS has failed me, although I phoned yesterday and I says, is my podiatrist told you that I need x-rays because he thinks I may have arthritis in my feet? And it goes, oh, we've no knowledge of that. So that was the private clinic. But the mayor, I don't know if they go straight to the hospital, but I'll have to phone him and see what's happening.
well, if anything, our complaint is messages don't necessarily get from A to B.
Yeah.
So yesterday we were phoned by the X-ray department because scans are done by X-ray, even though they're not X-rays, but they're done by the X-ray team. But oncology hadn't told us that there was this opportunity to even be scanned. It's just crazy. And then she gets texts and they say, please see your letter attached. But there's nothing attached.
Yeah. You know, one of my biggest regrets is you maybe seen me post about my diabetes, right?
Yeah.
My biggest regret is getting diabetic because I would have had, so listen in, people, I would have had fairly low cost life insurance, fairly low cost critical illness, and I would have been able to go and pay a private plan. So if you think you might be getting diabetes and it runs in your family and you don't have it yet, slim down a bit if you can and get all these things in place now. Cheap health plan. Cheap.
The moment you hit 64 up,
Yeah.
they all become exceedingly expensive anyway.
Yeah.
Now,
Because I'm worth more alive than when I pass away with
I
insurance.
hope so, Peter.
Huh?
It's to be hoped so.
I'm definitely worth more dead than I am now.
The government have decided to, well, with the health service, just to sit back and just let the strikes go on, because the strikes going on have an immediate effect insofar as operations get cancelled, and it's going to be a while before they'll be rescheduled. 180,000 operations were cancelled during the last junior doctor strike.
Yeah.
Problems are being stored up for the future, aren't they? Because it's not going to hit immediately. It's going to be down the road.
Yeah.
But it has an effect because whether we like it or not, people are dying because of the strikes.
Yeah. I'm waiting for some things as well, which aren't life-threatening and stuff like that. But here's the thing. When I joined the British Army, I didn't look at the wage packet. I didn't join for the wage packet.
Yeah.
I was looking, well, one, to get away from home. But I was looking for a life of adventure and something to see other countries and until they needed me to fire a rifle, which I'm glad I never done. And I just look at, and doctors are the same. They go in to a job, and my partner was a nurse as well. They know they're not going in it for the money. It's a vocation. It's a way of life. Now, what I done after I became a soldier was, if I wasn't content about the wage I made, do you know what I done?
Nope.
I moved on to better myself. I'll say, right.
We've got a situation where the doctors are moving on.
Yeah.
They're moving on to Australia.
Yeah.
And Canada.
Yeah.
So what you need to do there, you need to put in a restrictive covenant and saying, if we are paying for it for you, you've got to stay within the national health for a set period of time, or we'll claw back the money. Yeah, right. That's one way.
That's one
And
way looking forward. But today we've got the continuing nurses strikes, we've got the doctor strikes, it's difficult finding somebody who's not on strike.
okay, well, the priority until it's fixed should be those with imminent life-threatening conditions, and say the only one we can work on is these people. I'm sorry, everybody else, if you've got a sore toe, I'm sorry, you're going to have to wait until we get this out of the way. Because if you give it everybody will want it. They got it, I want it, I want it. My guy, I've just had a wage increase with my guys, and I've said, you better put the prices up 10%. We won't get them. I says, but I've had to put your wages up 10%. So try. Because that's what happens. Everybody, and it'll, what is that called, Stephen? Inflation will go sky high.
Inflation is still 10.1%, which has annoyed everybody because we all expected, or were told it would go below 10%, which is a psychological barrier. But food inflation is at 45%.
I think the government were on this morning, a spokesperson was saying they're going to try and do something about that. Is there going to be measures put in?
Well, what do you do? I mean, you can't, if you force farmers and say to farmers, right, for that pint of milk, you can only ever have 50p.
Yeah.
And it costs 55p to make, but you can only sell it to the dairies for 50p. The farmers go out of business.
But what you should do is to the supermarkets and Asda's and all, and say you make a fortune. Maybe they tax you more, unless you cap some of your prices.
You can't. From our point of view, you want prices to stay stable or go down slightly.
Yeah.
Reality is that because of the world situation, raw material prices are going up. So therefore, effectively, finished goods in terms of food, finished goods have got to go up in price as well.
But it's not just in Britain, though, Stephen.
Oh no! I'm not suggesting it's peculiar to the government. I'm saying
I
it's peculiar
think we
to
should have a healthy nation. And people aren't going to like what I say here, but I think we should be rationed. Rationed to fit the needs for society till we get back on. But I'll tell you, the prettiest my mum and my sisters and everything were during the World War II when they were on rations. They were really attractive women, even so I say so myself.
Okay,
But they made up for it later. They ate everything in their path.
Should we close all fast food outlets?
Oh, now that would be, the diabetes rate would go down. What else? Kids wouldn't be spoiled anymore. We should teach them home economics. Listen, folks, people that are listening, at the age about 2 years ago, I started to learn to cook. And I do low carb, and people say, my Peter, you look absolutely handsome. And I've had that. And I'm going to tell the viewers a story. A woman came up to me when I was in my local bar drinking my non-alcoholic lager, and I was putting up a song in the karaoke. And this woman came up to me and she said, wow, what a handsome man you are. And she was with her husband. And I says, oh, thank you very much. And it was the first time I wore glasses. And then she said, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? I says, I'll be 63 this coming Monday. And she went, wow, I thought you were 56-ish. And that made my night.
Excellent.
So slim down, eat well, and you'll have women swooning over you.
Well, I only want the one swooning over me, which is why I follow her when she's running. And we went
have to beat them off at a pub.
Yeah, you're chasing after her and she's running away. That's the reality.
That is exactly
we have an event on Monday.
Sorry?
Well, me and Seal have an event on Monday. We'll have been married 41 years on Monday.
Wow.
Oh, good.
Congratulations in advance.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically, we've got the park run, which we do every Saturday, and this week is park run number 23. So I've been running for 23 weeks. But
Oh,
it was suggested that if we're doing the park run, we should actually be training for it. So we go out training now. I went out training last night. It's only 20 minutes, so it doesn't take much out of the day. But we run.
yeah, good
And,
for you. Now, I'm
it's
going to give
actually
you a
good.
bit of warning about it. You may get saboteurs in your run, ruining your day with orange powder and things like that, throwing it on you to ruin your day, to make you think about the climate.
Yeah,
Well,
but I don't understand why they do it in the middle of the snooker. Yeah, it's not even like they've got any plastics or petroleum sponsorship. You know,
Yeah,
well,
it's just a high vis event, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
basically, people watch it.
well, the kid was high vis after he dosed himself in orange powder.
Yeah.
That was for sure.
I think their message was if you keep on going the way you are, you're snookered. That might have been their message.
Ha 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 ha. We're going to ignore that, Peter.
We could
Well,
try.
I was watching them.
Wasn't even funny, Peter.
I was
Right.
on with Piers Morgan. I was watching Piers Morgan last night, and he had two of them on. He took on two at the same time, and he ripped them to shreds. It was funny. It was a shouting match between the two of them. You know, brilliant.
Mm. Yeah. I mean,
Somebody has to say something. We can't have nothing on the radio.
I know what is Just Stop Oil about? I mean, neither of you would give it. Well, you wouldn't give it your car, John, would you?
Neither of them, because we have to. Yeah.
No, no way. And the last, no, I don't use Gillette products anymore, as I've told
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. You did that one last week as well,
Yeah,
Peter.
right. Okay. And I don't drink a certain lager that's back. Did you see that one that's backfired on them?
The Budweiser advert.
Yes, that's backfired on them. Well, lost billions of dollars actually. But no, I'm from the oil capital of Britain, but it's derelict now. And they say there's going to be wind energy jobs. There's no jobs.
Yeah.
I sit and watch off Donald Trump's golf course. I sit and watch it. And we've got lots of these windmills now.
Yeah.
And some days they're not turning, which means they're not making electricity. You know what kills a lot of birds? Those things. So there's a new product out to put on them. It scares the birds away. I've told you about that as well.
Do you think you could do that? Send your men out and they have to climb up, stick this thing in the middle of the rotor and go down.
I would have to, I'll tell you, I couldn't do that job. These people that I just couldn't do that job. That would be a punishment if I was sentenced. This is, I want you to climb up there. There's no way could I do that. Could you be a steeplejack?
Well, you do go up the inside, don't you? So
no. How on earth Fred Dibner did it, I do not know.
Yeah, he was funny.
I saw a picture of him yesterday. It was on Facebook from the early 1960s with a red Mark II Land Rover, Series 2 Land Rover, with ladders that stuck out 10 foot either end of the Land Rover. And apparently he used to drive around like that all the time.
I've got a friend that used to do work for me high level, and he's about 70 on now, and he still does it. The man used to walk across parapets away in the air, no health and safety whatsoever. And I was kind of physically sick watching him. I couldn't watch him. He said, "What's the problem?"
Fred was also famous for his steamrollers.
Yes.
And driving the roads of Lancashire and Yorkshire with his steamroller. And he used to go, well, Worley was holding a 2-day school symposium, and they invited Fred, and Fred was coming along with his steamroller. And we also got invited as well. This was the early days of computing. So we went to the school to actually show computers at work. And I took Paul with me. and this is a small school, and it was surrounded by fields, so everybody parked on the fields, and you just carried your kit into the school, laid your stall out, and sort of as people walk by, you'd actually demonstrate this is a computer, because they were new in those days. But for the whole of the 2 days, it poured down, and the water was just running down the road, but we parked on the grass. So comes the end of day 2, Paul and I got the kit out, put it in the boot of the car, and I got in the car to turn the engine over, and the car would not move. It was stuck. It was deep in mud.
Yeah.
Right. But unfortunately, there was the steam engine nearby. So Fred said, I've got the lad. And he came across and he attached his ropes to the tow bar on the car, and he pulled us out of the mud. So that's my Fred Dibner story. Real life. Met him. Great guy.
Yeah. Dino seemingly had a couple of pints as well before he went up 5 minutes.
Yeah, he did. Right. I just want to say thank you to somebody. Just a minute. I just want to bring this on screen. What I'm putting on screen for those of you listening on Racing Radio, and if you're listening to this part of the show, thank you, was this story, a blog that was written yesterday by OneStream, and it was about me. And I'd just like to say thank you to Sarah and to Fiza at OneStream for actually, well, Sarah mainly, for actually putting this. It's got everything. It's got a YouTube video, which stars me, but I never made the video. If you go and see it, you'll find out what I mean. And it's got quotes from me. In fact, it's got lots of quotes from me. It's got my story of using OneStream Live. We are live on OneStream Live today. OneStream are a Finnish company, and they provide us with the ability to go live on our website, and we're live on our website today. So a big shout out and a big thank you to everybody at OneStream. And it was quite an amazing, well, it was just a wonderful feeling to actually wake up to that yesterday morning.
Well
Thank
done.
you.
Now, here's Stephen.
Thank you.
I keep saying this to myself. I'll have to use it. I watch TikTok quite a lot, and you should be on there. Just little wee bits, getting them over to it. Really should.
I've actually been asked to look at TikTok.
Yeah.
You need 1,000 followers to go live. Okay. Now
Yeah.
I could have 2. I could have 3. I could have Angelica, yourself, and John. So
Yeah.
that's a start. But you need 1,000 followers, and I don't know.
No, you just start putting interesting stuff out, and it'll get shared. Put in hashtags, Amazon Live, and everything like that.
I'm gonna have it's a new horizon. I'm gonna have a crack at it.
I mean,
you can now though. As I found out from Go Studio, what you can actually do is you can have a business account.
yes.
And if you open up a business account, then you can go live straight away.
We're on
TikTok.
Yeah. Okay. I never knew that.
You go live. Yeah, I mean, basically, it's an easy application process. Personal details, just like on any social media.
Yeah.
Then you take a screenshot of your passport, and then the screenshot, a photograph of you holding that passport.
Yeah.
That gets verified. Once that's verified, you've got a business account on TikTok, and then you can broadcast whenever you want, whatever you want.
I've seen pest controllers using it, and I've got another lady that I don't know if it did on LinkedIn. There's a picture of me holding a dragon. It's a puppet. Cost a lot of money. And I went to a little wedding fair with Andy, and she put a great thing. It says, Peter came to look for pests, but he found a friend instead. And it's a dragon that you move about. She's very clever, and she does horror days. And but you never know where your next bit of business is going. So it wasn't very well attended. It was a little room. There was hardly anybody there. I spoke to the humanist and all this. But as I was going out, I chatted to a lady at the reception. We chatted away, and I says, I've actually sung here. She goes, have you? I says, yeah. I said, but I'm a rocking jocks now. She says, tell me more about that. And I told her, she says, we've got 8 hotels in the group. Can I give you my card and come back and see me? You never know.
You never know. But what we do know is that it's John. Over to you.
It's time to go. So it's goodbye from our friend in the southwest. Not that I'm that convinced that Devizes is really in the southwest, but that's what the government thinks. It's goodbye from our friend in Scotland, where local government is in turmoil, and it's goodbye from me in the West Midlands, where the most exciting thing that's happened this week is a long famous pothole finally got filled in. Goodbye.
Bye.
Have a great day.